Hello, my crafty friends. Welcome to Stamp with Teah. I am Teah Woodward, an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and I live in Vancouver, Washington in the United States. Today is day 2 of a 4-day event where I am giving demonstrations and showing some samples from the new July through December mini catalog. And I'm really excited to be here. So I am going to look over here for just a second, because if you were with me yesterday for day 1 of our event, then you saw that I had a little bit of technical difficulty. There we go. So I'm just bringing it up on my screen so I don't have to rely on anybody else to tell me if my orientation is correct or anything like that. So it's more of a favor to everybody else. So let me see. So as I mentioned, I am giving some demonstrations out of the July through December mini catalog. And I am just doing 2 demonstrations per day. I'm showing you more than that, but what I want to do is I want to make sure that I have given you some of the highlights of the things that I think are really cool and things that you should take, maybe take advantage of, or at least be aware of. Also, if I were to demonstrate everything that I have, I wouldn't have anything left to demonstrate for the rest of the duration of the catalog, right? So it doesn't make sense for me to demonstrate everything, but I have some samples to show you. Just realized, do I have the wrong color? No wonder. I have the wrong color ink. I'll fix that in a minute. Anyway, at the same time that this is going on, for the first 2 months, July and August, is Sale A Bration. And Sale A Bration is when you make a purchase, and the purchase doesn't have to be out of this catalog. It can be out of the annual catalog, it can be out of the clearance, it can be the branded merchandise, it can be paper pumpkin, it can just, if your accumulated purchases, accumulated being all in the same purchase, show up in increments of $50 or $100, then there are freebies from this little flyer that you can get. And there's stamp sets, there's designer series paper, there's even some dies in here. So that is the advantage of purchasing during these 2 months. So wanted to let you know about that. The other thing I wanted to let you know about, and of course I placed it just a little bit too far out of my way. Hold on half a second here. There we go. The heaviest thing that I have to deal with right now is we have a joining special, and with this joining special, it's the normal $125 worth of product for $99, free shipping on that first order, a free paper pumpkin, which is a kit. They're also giving you for free, they being Stampin' Up, this planner. And this planner comes with, got an 18-month calendar. It's got tons of pages for maybe doing a bullet journal or something like that. There are some of these, I did this yesterday too, didn't I? And I didn't have everything unrubber banded. Oh my goodness. There are 3 of these, there we go, little notebooks. One of them I've got already set in the planner that you can use either for journaling or for designing or whatever you want. Then there's 2 different designs for sticker pages. So a lot of people use that for bullet journaling and stuff. Then there are pages for weekly priorities. I'm sorry, I'm having to look at this. I've assembled the planner, but I haven't started using it yet, so I don't have this memorized. This goes through December of 2023. Anyway, these pages that I have here are the pages that don't fit because of what I've already put in here. You see that? So there's tons of stuff to pick from to truly customize this to your specific needs. There also is a stamp set that comes with it. It's called Making Plans. It's got all kinds of doodads. It's got check boxes. It's got the word notes and to do and goals and thank you. So there's a wealth of stuff right here that they are offering for free if you sign up in July or August. And if you decide to sign up, I would love to have you on my team. My team name is Paper Blessings because that is the goal, right? We like to make cards to send to people and brighten their day. So let me set this all aside and let's get down to the business that we really want to talk about, right? And that is making some cards. So today I'm going to, yesterday I demonstrated some fall or autumn cards. I even showed a sample of a Halloween card. But today I have Christmas. And they're pretty. I like them a lot. I will show you a few different, I'm going to show you a suite of products. Then I'm also going to show you some specialty papers that complement that suite of products. And then I've got two Sale A Bration items to show you. So in this Sale A Bration flyer, oh sorry, I'm a little stiff today. In this Sale A Bration flyer, between the 4 days, yesterday through this coming Thursday, I will show you everything that's in this flyer so that you can see what you can get for free. But I had to break it up and kind of make it somewhat applicable. But I didn't make a Christmas card for the Sale A Bration flyer, but I did use something that had some glimmer to it. So that's how I kind of tied it together. All right, I am going to set all of that aside. Oh, let's see. I do want to mention that the suite of products that I'm featuring today are the Lights Aglow, and they start on page 30 of the mini catalog and go through page 33. If you do not, I'm going to set this keyboard out of the way. If you do not have a demonstrator and you would like a catalog, please let me know and I would be glad to get one for you, get one to you. But I would like to not do that if you already have a demonstrator. All right? And I can now, I believe I've mentioned everything that I need to mention. I can now turn the camera down. All right? And here we go. And this is so much better than yesterday. Yesterday the camera was sideways. It was right after Facebook had done an update and the system was not particularly happy. So the first card I'm going to make is this one. Let's see, I'm going to look in my camera. I'm going to jiggle the camera for just a second. I don't think I'm seated in the holder correctly. I think maybe now. Yep. So here it is. We've got this specialty paper that has foil on it, and then I've done some die cutting. I've placed it over a glimmer paper, and the die cut that's in here, the glimmer paper shows through, and then I use the glimmer paper to create some ornaments as well. And these just kind of looks like a garland. So this is the card. Oh, that's what I was going to do. Let's see. I have it within reach. I was going to show you, okay, one moment, it's got to be nearby. I was going to show you, what I'm stuttering over here is that I have 4 make and takes that if anybody makes a purchase in this month, I will be sending you the make and takes that I'm going to show you. So yesterday I showed or announced the first make and take. Today, this is the second make and take. Hold on one moment. It's just out of reach. Here was the make and take that I showed yesterday. And then here is the make and take from today. And so what that means is that if you place an order of $50 or more, I will send you the kits and envelopes to make these cards. I cannot send any stamped images, but I can die cut. So for instance, here, it wouldn't make any sense for me to die cut this piece and send it to you because I don't know if you have a stamp that will fit in there or not. But what I can do is send you a piece of cardstock that gives you some wiggle room to create your own sentiment and use whatever die you already have on hand. But I will send you the card base, cut and scored, the designer series paper, cut. This piece would be die cut. The piece behind it is also die cut. These ornaments, all die cut. I can send you those. I send you the gems. I send you your bow, pre-tied and with a glue dot on the back. And then I send you your liner for the inside of your card, and then an envelope. Okay? So that's what would come in this make and take kit. You would just need your own stamps, ink, and adhesive. And then if you wanted to use a die, you would need to do that. I better put this so that I don't lose this again for tomorrow. Okay, now we can get started. So here's the card we're going to make. I am using soft suede and evening evergreen. And I guess before I get too far, I could show you, oh, I didn't score that, that's funny. The other thing that I was going to mention is everyone that's already made a purchase, your kits have already been put, I've already been assembling everything for you. So they're all being assembled each day as I go along. I need to score this at 4 1/4. All right. So let me show you these bundles. That was a little crooked. So in the Lights Aglow, there are 2 stamp sets and 2 die sets. There is a ribbon, there is a set of gems, there are 2 specialty papers, and then there is, I'm gonna cough, excuse me, and then there is 1 set of designer series paper. And I am going to show you, I guess I could show you all of that right now. So in the brightest glow, there are these wonderful, wonderful sentiments. There's 12 sentiment stamps in here. Then there are these dies. Actually, there's 1 more die that I have set right here. It's because I'm going to need to cut 1 more for one of the cards, not this card, but another card. Anyway, so these are really cool. These when you die cut, it makes all these holes, and then you would have like a glimmer paper or a contrast paper behind, and that would show through. There are examples of that in the catalog. This would do the same, like in a border. Here, our scroll. Here are some snowflakes. Those are all just punch out dots. That's what they do. And then there are these two label dies. So that's in the brightest glow. In the Christmas lights, you'll see that there's no sentiments. There are 8 stamps. There's this large Christmas tree. There's a couple of swags, large snowflake, small snowflake, and then some glimmer spots. And then the detailed dies are a little bit different. So like, for instance, I can stamp this tree and then die cut it with this die. Or I can use this die inside of this one and die cut something and do some detail, oh come on, die cutting at the same time. Same thing with this snowflake. Here's some more snowflakes. Here's like a string of lights. So all kinds of stuff on here. Okay? Super pretty, super, super pretty. Then we have this designer series paper. It comes in 6x6. There's 48 sheets. And it's real pretty. I'll show you one side, and then I'll show you the other side. So this side has a little bit of foil on it, some foil design. See if you can see that. The other side does not. And I've mentioned this before, really the best way to see these designer series papers is to go on to stampinup.com and to look at the thumbnails of each of the prints. Interestingly, so this also comes in Cherry Cobbler, this particular design, but I've used it all up, so I don't have any here to show you. These cut, so this, because this is 6x6, these cut into 3x3, and you can do this with them. So I cut out, say for instance, a circle, or I have square dies, and I stamp in that, and then I mount that in the middle of that circle, and then in this case I mounted that 3x3 onto a 3 1/8 by 3 1/8 of glimmer paper. And you could put that on the front of a card. Just wanted to show you what that does. Then the back side of this paper, I'm not going to show them all to you, but I'll fan them out. And again, the best way to see both sides is to go to stampinup.com and click on the thumbnails. Okay. Then there is there's a specialty paper. And I don't know why I didn't take this other color out. Let me do that. There's 3 colors. I think that's crushed curry. This is cherry cobbler, and then soft succulent. And you see the foil on each one of those? There's nothing on the other side, they're blank. And then one more specialty paper. And I actually used this one in this card. So there's 3 colors that comes with 2 of each sheet. This is more of a vanilla color than of a white. Your gold, and then your evening evergreen. Aren't those just luxurious together? All right, let's see. Then in that suite, there is this vanilla with gold ribbon. It's an open weave ribbon. And then there are these what's called red and green adhesive backed pearls, and I'm gonna have to open them up for you to actually see the red. And these on here, this looks blue, but they're not. They're actually soft succulent. So here is that, the red, the green, the silver, and the gold. All right. Let's get this going on. That was a big suite of products to show you. Now for this card, so originally I used one of the designer series papers that had these gold trees in the background. For the card that I'm about to demonstrate, I'm going to use this one that has, it looks like tree branches, but you can certainly get that glimmer of the foil. And just, I already have had so many sales that I was worried about running out of this designer series paper for the kits. So that's why I'm using a different paper for the background of this one. And if I do run out, then I will, I'll have to substitute this paper, which I think is going to look fine. I think it's going to look nice. Okay, burnished my score line. So my cardstock was 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I'm going to adhere my designer series paper to the front. In order to keep things moving along, I have already die cut and stamped most items, but I will still do some demonstrating along the way. There we go. So we just need to center that. It's kind of crazy demonstrating Christmas cards on a 90-degree day, but that's okay. That's what we're gonna do. So here is, so this one I die cut with just that outer die that I showed you. And then this one, I used the outer die and the detail die. And can you see, this is kind of hard to see. If I flip it over, you can, not really. There we go. You can see those details in there, those cutouts. I wanted those to show through. I wanted this to show through. So I am going to use regular adhesive. I could have used adhesive back sheet. And to be honest, I'm not sure why I didn't. I just decided not to. So just putting some spots on here because I had that open work, so I really don't want any glue seeping through, right? So I need to go light on my application. I want to put it where it's going to keep my tree from separating on the sides. And I'm going to apply it from the back that way and then pick it up. And because I used the green glue, it gives me just not a lot of time to wiggle it, but it gives me a little bit of time to get it wiggled into position. There we go. Oops. A little bit of there we go. That looks great. So I'm going to turn it over and give it a nice little press. I am going to use some dimensionals on the back. And I'm going to go a little bit heavy. I need one small one for the back of the star up at the top. There we go. And then I am going to use my Take Your Pick tool to remove the backs of my papers. There we go. And I am going to just place it in approximately the same location as my previous card. Right in the center. See, I think that's going to look fine. Up just a little bit, centered from side to side. That looks good. Can you see the glimmer coming through those holes? I can see it, but I'm not sure that that's translating through the camera. All right, now I did already die cut the star and some of those ornaments at the top, so let me grab these out of my project bin here and dump those on the table. Then I'm going to start with a mini glue dot for the star. The star is big enough that allows me to put a mini glue dot on it. There we go. And line up my, there we go, very nice. Now for these others, and I really only need 4 of them on here. I just happen to have some extras. Let me flip these over so that I can pick them up with my Take Your Pick tool. And one more. And I am going to adhere these with adhesive, my multi-purpose glue. I'm going to add one. Ooh, way too much glue. Well, we'll start with that. So I did have an extra large one over there. I may have to use that. So I put adhesive where I know I wanted it. Trying to put just a small dot, that's all that's needed. Yep. All right. So I'm using the clay tip on my Take Your Pick tool to pick up the ornaments and set them in place, and then I'm just using my finger to hold it in place so that my Take Your Pick tool doesn't actually pick it right back up. Now those don't look like much at the moment, but they will momentarily when I add some soft succulent pearls on top. Oops. So right in the center of each of those spots, and oops, and then for the star I'm going to use a gold pearl. There we are. Star's wanting to be a little crooked. All right. So there so far is our tree. Now, I'm just going to show you, I've actually already stamped and die cut my sentiment, but I am going to show you what my steps would normally be. So I stamped this with soft succulent. I'm using Very Vanilla here. And the reason I'm using the Very Vanilla is I thought that that glimmer paper was very warm and not cool. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to mention is somehow I got my sticker on upside down on this particular stamp. So you're gonna, it looks like I'm stamping upside down and I'm not. Ta-da! That was a little embarrassing. And clean that ink off. Then I would take, when I showed everything, I got stuff out of order here. Let's see. Here we go. So then I would take my label die, I would center it just like that, and I would use a piece of Post-it tape to hold it in place, and then run that through my die cut machine. I've already done that for the sake of speeding things up. And it's right here. I am going to add dimensionals to the back of this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make them 1 dimensional high here, 2 dimensional high on each side. The reason I'm doing that is the Christmas tree, remember I put dimensionals behind these, so that's already 1 dimensional high. So in order for this label to sit straight, I need to bump up the 2 sides. All right, taking off those dimensional backs. Should have used my Take Your Pick tool because it goes faster when I do. And looking in my camera to see if you can see, you can. All right, so there is that. Then I've already tied a bow. Just need to add a glue dot and adjust the tails. And I haven't trimmed them yet either, for that matter, so I should do that next. There we go. And I'm setting that right on the edge of that tag. So our front is done. Let me set that aside. We're going to bring in the back real quick. And I think I'm going to do one thing just a little bit different than I did on my other card. So there's actually 2 different swags in here, and on my sample card I used the same swag for both. on the inside, which looks fine, but I think I'm going to switch it up. So I'm going to use this. Oh, I almost had that go the wrong way. Like that. And just a little bit here. Now I can clean that off so that I can use this same block for the other swag. Doesn't take long for there to be a whole bunch of things all accumulated in your space, huh? Happens pretty quickly. Closing up this color of ink, and I'm going to switch over to the Evening Evergreen. Ugh, goodness gracious. All right. And I'm going to do a stamp off on this real quick. Make sure I know what I'm getting. And I'm going to try and kind of sort of line it up one end. There we go. Yeah, I like how that looks. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Let's see. I think I'm just going to try to, well, it's fine. It's good. It's not perfect, but it is handmade. Set that aside. Close up my ink. Oh, actually, I'm going to leave. Yeah, I'm going to close it up, but then I'm going to stamp the envelope in just a minute. There we go. Adhere this to the back, or to the inside of the card. You can use your Stampin' Seal or whatever adhesive of choice you like to use. I like to use the snail, or the snail. That is not what I meant to say. I like to use the green glue or the multi-purpose adhesive. There we go. There's plenty of room there to write a message. And there is card number 1. And again, this is the card that is going to be make and take number 2. Let me set that aside. I'm going to grab out the envelope. And instead of stamping on the front, I think I'm just going to stamp on the back flap. And let's see. Yep, there's one. Trying to decide if I want to switch to the other stars or just switch colors. I think I am going to switch to the other bow or swag. And they're going to overlap going the other direction. any luck, I won't make a mess. But I made a mess. And I don't love it. Okay, so that's okay. I'm gonna grab another envelope. Another option would be, well, another option would be for me to pull out the, I'm looking at the back in this designer series paper. There's some of these little stars and bigger stars, and that might be nice just to stamp down in the corner. It's also a little bit blasé. Or there's some bigger snowflake stamps. But that doesn't really match what we've done. Okay, never mind. Let me clean this off. And do this one more time. And I need to decide if I'm going to stamp on the front or the back. Oh, I made another mess. I'm not being a very good example to you, am I? All right, third time's a charm. The reason I don't keep talking when I walk away is because the microphone doesn't pick it up from that far away, and it's only a few feet, but that is something that we've discovered. So I am going to switch. So instead of messing up another envelope, I am going to switch to these little dots that do match the designer series paper. There's nothing wrong with using them. I just thought the grand gesture was more interesting, but I bet I'm gonna love it. There we go. Yeah, see, I'm being messy, super messy. Why am I doing that? I used this. Here we go. There we go. There, that's not boring. Ta-da! All right. So we have now completed project number 1. Let me set these items aside. And here we go, there we go, there we go. So on card number 2, I'm not going to use any of these specialty papers. I'm going to use a different specialty paper, but I am using one of the sentiments from Brightest Glow. I am going to grab that other correct ink color. There we go. So again, there is card number 1. Set those aside. And here's our second card. So here I have pulled in balmy blue cardstock. I've used the wrong color of ink here, so you're going to see me use the correct color of ink. Then I've got this specialty vellum. Let me show that to you now. It's called Snowflake 12 by 12 Specialty Vellum. There are 6 sheets. 3 of them have the flocking on them. So this one looks like snow. And then there's 2 different designs of snowflakes. Then they have this kind of holographic print. And again, these are on vellum. Today I'm using the velvet sheet. Get that put away. So much big stuff. All right. So pull that back in. So this one I did not stamp and die cut the second sentiment yet, so you're going to get to see me do that. And I have not cut. I've cut the basic shape of the snowflakes, of the vellum, but I have not done all of the cutting. So you're going to see me do that as well. All right. So the first thing I am going to do is bring in my paper trimmer. Love my paper trimmer. And I've got my specialty vellum here, and I need to cut that at 1 3/16 of an inch. 4 strips of 1 3/16. So 1, 2, 3. So there's 1, and I want to keep these in the same order so that the pattern reads correctly. And there we go. So our pattern reads correctly. I can put the paper trimmer away now. I just wanted to have you see me do that. I'm going to burnish my fold line. So this is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Okay, picked snowflakes to see if it would cool me off. It's so warm here today and yesterday. All right. Next, I'm going to take my balmy blue, which is 3 3/4 by 5, and I am going to adhere my snowflake vellum, and it leaves a 1/16 of an inch perimeter and in between each of the strips. That's what this measurement will come out to. If anyone wants that, I can provide that to them. I am looking, oh, it's right here. So I'm going to use my mini glue dots to attach my strips. And I'm just putting them behind. I'm not necessarily trying to hide them, but I am trying to camouflage them by, oops, one of them didn't stick. Behind where there's some flocking. Because in general, it will show through vellum. the mini glue dots will show through the vellum. I'm not worried about adhering the whole thing down. These mini glue dots are pretty strong. So you would see that I'm not necessarily centering the dot, because if I did, then it would be out here in the middle and it would probably show through, but I'm kind of centering it behind where there's some flocking. Oops, there we go. So I'm just leaving a little 1/16 of an inch in between each of these. How do I know that's a 1/16 of an inch? I've been doing this for a while. I'm going to skip the third one and put in the last one, and then center this one in between. That way, if I've gotten any of my placements kind of cattywampus, this one is going to get 2 on one side because they're on opposite ends. There we go. If I were to have gotten anything a little cattywampus, then it would really show up on one end if I didn't find some way to balance or hide it. Let's see, what else can I be telling you about? I'm being awfully quiet today. So this week, as you're aware, I am doing the 4 days in a row of presenting, and then my husband and I have to, well, want to, go to Utah for my mother-in-law's 90th birthday party. But then I will be back next Monday for my Facebook Live. So yeah, it's a bomb run. My husband could only get 1 day off, so he got Friday off, and we have to turn around on Sunday and come back again. Here we go. So thankfully the party is on Saturday. I am now going to attach this decorated sheet to my card front using dimensionals. I'm not too sure how this trip is going to go for my back. We had really hoped that the procedure that I'm going to have done, it's now not been scheduled until the 26th. We had really hoped it was going to be before this trip, but it is not, so this will be a little bit of an experiment. There we go. So speaking of the procedure on my back, that last week in July, I will not be doing any lives. I have a recoup period, and they've already told me that I won't be able to stand to do a live. As I do all of this standing. All right, this is now ready to attach. I'm eyeballing it. I'm centering it from top to bottom and side to side. Isn't that pretty? I just love that white on that balmy blue. I'm going to open this up and attach. This is the matting that's going to go underneath the liner. But I will be here, so I'm here 2 more days this week, gone for the weekend, and I'm here next week, Monday through Thursday. I won't be live all of those days. This is a special occasion this week. And then gone for the weekend, and then my procedure. So, okay, so next I am going to stamp and then die cut the sentiment. And I just realized, yep, I didn't put a liner in this one. So let's do that right. I have a piece of basic white cardstock here. I'm just cutting it down. Let's see, I think that was 3 3/4 by 5. So I'm taking it down to 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. And then I'm going to cut that again, and then I'm going to use, I think, I'm going to use the leftover for my sentiment, if it's big enough. Oh, that might not be big enough. Nope, it's not. That's all right. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp my liner. I'm going to pull back in that Christmas lights, and I'm going to use the snowflake that's in here. I want a nice decorated inner, let's see, where'd my, inner liner. And I'm going to use that balmy blue. And I'm going to test it on my grid paper. So that's what it, yeah, I'm not going to do a stamp off. I was going to see if I was going to do a stamp off, but it's already pretty light. There. That's lovely. Flip that over and adhere that real quick. Now, I did not tie a bow on this card. Originally, I'll show you the ribbon that I pulled over to put a bow on it with, and then changed my mind and ended up using the iridescent pearls, which pick up that blue in a real pretty way. So there's the inside of the card. So I just used a few of these pearls, and see how they pick up the color. You might not be able to see that on camera. See, too bad I used the wrong color of ink on that piece. All right, so now here's the sentiment. Oh, beautiful. That's going to look much better. Then, looking for the die, which is in the other stamp set. There it is. Uh-oh. Ooh, it's just gonna fit on there. That's okay. It does fit, so that's what I need to focus on. I am looking for my Post-it tape. Here it is. I had a little strip, but this is a bigger die. I needed a longer strip. And then I'm going to take a minute to be extra careful and get this on here straight. Looks pretty good. And then I'm going to run this through the cut and emboss machine. And then this tape just peels right away, just like a Post-it note. When it goes through the cut and emboss machine, it does get a little bit more sticky because we've really pressed it into the paper. I'm going to put this die back in its case right now. There. I'm going to use some dimensionals on the back of this. We're almost done with this card. Man, I keep losing my tools. All right, here we go. And now I'm going to kind of look at this and see where I think I want it to go. I can put it anywhere I want. Now see, the placement of the snowflakes on this one allowed me to center those dots. But on here, if I put this in the center, that kind of goes away, which is okay. I can move that up. I can move that down. I can straddle. That's not too bad actually right there. So I'm straddling that second from the bottom. There we are. Now I'm going to use the Iridescent Pearl Basic Jewels. Oh, I was going to show you the ribbon that I had thought about using. It was the glittered organdy ribbon. And it was pretty, but I don't know, I wasn't in love with it when I went to put a bow on there. So I changed my mind. I can use either the large jewels or the small ones. On the first card I used the small ones, and I'm kind of inclined for mailing purposes to do that again. So I'm going to put there we go. All right, so there is, see, I accidentally grabbed Pool Party and didn't realize it the first time. This is actually the right color of ink, and I think it looks it. All right, so let me show you, do a little overview. Hi, Sonia. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much for sharing. That is so helpful to my little business. All right, so we made this card, and this is the one that will be today's make and take. So if there's a collection of 4 make and takes for every purchase of $50 this month, I will send the collection of 4 make and takes. This is today's make and take, and yesterday's was this, and I'm keeping them a surprise each day. All right, so other things that I had to show you today were, we have this snow crystal. This is a background stamp, so it's literally just one stamp and it's that big. Last week I made this card using that stamp. So I used Pool Party on white. I used a mat of Pool Party. I used the Merry Christmas from the Brightest Glow, so I've used all of my sentiments today, came from the Brightest Glow. And that was how I decorated the inside. So there is our third Christmas card of the day. So there are your cards. Then I wanted to show you two of the Sale A Bration items. So I've been breaking that up day by day. Oh, this is actually 3 Sale A Bration items. So completely different than the Christmas card you've been looking at. We have this Hippest Hippos, excuse me, and with a $50 purchase, you can get this Hippest Hippos stamp set. There's 7 stamps in here, 4 sentiments, 3 different versions of Hippo. And then I need to double check before I say it out loud. Whoops, and then for another $50 purchase, so separate purchase, or a $100 purchase, and you pick these 2 items, you get all these dies, and these coordinate with this set of stamps. So that's what I used today to make this. Now, there is another item that's also in the Sale A Bration flyer that is the silver and gold specialty paper, and there is a stripe and there is a polka dot. So there's 4 different papers. There's 2 stripes, one is silver, one is gold, and 2 polka dots, one is silver, one is gold. And let's see if I can grab that last one. There it is. There are 24 sheets in here. So that must mean that there are 6 of each. And what I did to make this card is I used my blending brushes, and I used Parakeet Party on the silver stripe, and then I used Polish Pink on the silver polka dot. Then I used these hearts right here and cut those out of silver foil. I mounted these strips on silver foil cardstock, and then I colored our sweet little hippopotamus with blender pens. So that is that card. So there are the cards that I have to share with you today. I shared with you a ton of products, tons and tons of products. If you have any questions, please do reach out to me and let me know. I would be so glad to help you with your crafting journey. Nobody should ever have to wonder or not take action because they have a question. I would be more than happy to answer your questions. If you do not have a demonstrator, please let me know, and I would be glad to send you a catalog. And I thank you, everybody, for your time today. I appreciate you all, and you mean the world to me. Great big hugs. Bye-bye.